After studying this module, you will be able to list the basic emotions and moods, discuss whether emotions are rational and what functions they serve, identify the sources of emotions and moods, show the impact emotional labor has at workplace, describe effective events theory and identify its applications, apply concepts about emotions to specific OB issues. Emotions introduction. So, how are you feeling today? Every word of the question asked above will have an answer based on your emotion today. We often use the word emotion in our daily lives and use it interchangeably with words such as feeling, sentiment, sensation, reaction, response, etc. Emotion is considered as energy in motion. It is an energy moving through your body. The root word is emote, which implies the direction the energy is moving out. Emotions are an attempt outwardly to express what we believe. If your beliefs is unconscious, then you act on automatic pilot. If conscious, then you have some choice. In either case, how you feel is a reflection of how you think. Your negative thoughts produce negative emotions. Your positive thoughts produce positive emotions. So, emotion is not something that happens to you. Emotions is actually something you are doing. Emotions defined. Emotions can be defined as a mental state that arises spontaneously rather than through conscious effort and is often accompanied by physiological changes. A feeling, the emotions of joy, sorrow, reverence, hate, love, or a state of mental agitation or disturbance. For example, he spoke unsteadily in a voice that betrayed his emotion. Type of emotions: love. Possibly the most sought after human emotion. Feelings of personal affection and attachment to a particular person or animal are most commonly associated with love. Love can heal all, so are we told by modern thinkers. It can range from slightly affectionate to deep, true, soul bearing, all encompassing, and solid as a rock. It is the subject of songs, books, great feats of strength, and great periods of depression. Some say there are only two true human emotions, love and fear. They are potentially opposites of the same thing. Love for a child will differ from love for a husband, wife, mother, or father, long lasting friendship, or forever companion dog. These feelings can be the fire we use to motivate us to excel, or never finding the true love can be the reason some use as to why they never have achieved great success. Related emotions include fondness, passion, contentment, and adoration. Fear. It is a response to an immediate perceived threat or source of danger. It allows us to check our surroundings with a heightened vigilance, use our physical senses to locate and assess the source of danger, and quickly react to it. Likely known as the emotion most people avoid feeling. A survival or adaptive mechanism, fear is a human emotion that often has unpleasant side effects. In case of danger or extreme violence, post-traumatic stress disorder can result. Fear can also be protective in that it can help us survive desperate circumstances. We can also develop fear as a long-term consequence to something that has happened and we internalize it. For example, if a childhood friend we knew fell into the water and drowned, we may have learned to fear the water and carry that fear into adulthood. Related emotions include apprehension, terror, panic, and paranoia, grief. There are many different degrees of grief that we experience as a result of something we have lost or a painful emotion we have experienced. The pain we feel in our heart or psychological suffering are all indicators of this emotion. We can be slightly disappointed in the depths of despair. This can also be described as anguish or melancholy. This may color our views of other situations and we may become depressed as a result. There is a loss of joy or happiness, anger. If you are having a strong feeling of dislike, disapproval, or dissatisfaction, you are likely feeling the first of 7 human emotions, anger. Anger can be felt on a range of intensity, going from slight irritation to totally frustrated. It is usually a result of real or perceived wrongdoing, rage, fury, exasperation, and resentment all relate to the emotion of anger. Anger can be a result of instinct or can be a reaction to something or someone mistreating or intentionally harming you. Anger turned inwards can lead to depression, anxiety. Anxiety can be difficult to describe as it is subjective and depends on the perception of the person feeling this emotion. Nervousness and uneasiness characterize anxiety and it may have no apparent reason. Impending danger or perceived danger, public speaking or upcoming interview, having a baby and day-to-day routine stress are all examples of anxiety, causing situations that can lead to feeling of anxiety. Apprehension, distress, worry, and ambivalence are also related to this fourth of 7 human emotions, surprise. The feeling of surprise can be a good thing or a bad thing if it is a sudden emotion and can also include being bewildered, amazed, astonished, or being startled by someone or something. It is the reaction to something happening that was not anticipated. A surprise party, for example, could result in great joy and happiness or dread and fear. If someone does not like to be surprised, trust. This refers to an inner strength or self-assuredness and allows us to act on our intuition that we rely on to direct how we feel about certain situations or people. It may also manifest into confidence or experience hope. Our feeling of being secure, certain in ourselves, someone else, or a situation, and faith in a process also characterizes this emotion. Consistency and predictability increase trust. Functions of emotions. 3 major functions of emotions. 1. Emotions communicate to and influence others. We communicate our emotions to others with verbal and non-verbal facial expressions, body gestures and postures. Language. Some expressions of emotion have an authentic effect on others. When there is a difference in what a person communicates non-verbally versus verbally, the other person will usually respond to the non-verbal expression. Emotions organize and motivate actions. Emotion prepare for and motivate action. There is an action urge connected to specific emotions that is hardwired. Hardwired means it is an automatic built-in part of our behavior. For example, if you see your 2-year-old child in the middle of the street and a car coming, you will feel an emotion, fear, and this emotion will prompt you to run to save your child. You don't stop to think about it, you just do it. Your emotion has motivated your behavior without taking time to think about it. Emotions can also help us overcome obstacles in our environment. Anger may motivate and help people who are protecting injustices. The anger may override the fear they might feel in a demonstration or protest. Emotions can be self-validating. Emotions can give us information about a situation or event. They can signal to us that something is going on. Sometimes signals about a situation will be picked up unconsciously, and then we may have an emotional reaction but are not sure what set off the reaction. Feeling something does not feel right about this, or I had a feeling something was going to happen and it did, are some of the signals we might get. Think of some times when you feel for a situation turned out to be right. Is there some time when you felt anxiety or apprehension that turned out to be justified, or that you had a good feeling about someone that turned out to be right? When dealing with our feelings, this way is carried to extremes through we may think of the emotion as fact. I love him, so he is a good person. If I feel stupid, I am stupid. While our emotions are always valid, it doesn't necessarily make them facts. Think of some examples of your own. Remember that we are not evaluating or judging anyone's feelings or behavior. We are just trying to look at how emotions function. Emotions at workplace. Emotions in the workplace play a large role in how an entire organization communicates within itself and to the outside world. Events at work have real emotional impact on participants. The consequences of emotional states in the workplace, both behavioral and attitudinal, have substantial significance for individuals, groups, and society. Positive emotions in the workplace help employees obtain favorable outcomes, including achievement, job enrichment, and higher quality context. Negative emotions such as fear, anger, stress, hostility, sadness, and guilt, however, increase the predictability of deviance and how the outside world views the organization. Emotions normally are associated with the specific events or occurrences and are intense enough to disrupt thought process. Moods, on the other hand, are more generalized feelings or states that are not typically identified with a particular stimulus and not sufficiently intense to interrupt ongoing thought processes. There can be many consequences for allowing negative emotions to affect your general attitude or mood at work. Emotions and emotion management are a prominent feature of organizational life. It is crucial to create a publicly observable and desirable emotional display as a part of job role. The starting point for modern research on emotion in organization seems to have been sociologist Hochschild's 1983 seminal book on emotional labor, The Managed Heart. Ever since then, the study of emotions in the workplace has been seen as a near science, with seminars being held on it and books being written about it every year to help us understand the role it plays. Among the many reasons to be interested in human emotions at the workplace, foremost is that as applied scientists, one of our aspirations is to increase human welfare. Rather than being objective, welfare is subjectively defined by people in terms of their affective reactions to organizational events. Consequently, if we can find ways to alter organizational practices, social processes, or task designs in ways that increase positive emotions and reduce negative emotions, the welfare of organizational members is directly increased. Affective events theory. Affective events theory (AET) is a model developed by organizational psychologist Howard M. Weiss, Purdue University, and Russell Corpozzano University, Arizona, to explain how emotions and moods influence job performance and job satisfaction. The model explains the linkages between employees' internal influences, for example, cognitions, emotions, mental states, and their reactions to incidents that occur in their work environment that affect their performance, organizational commitment, and job satisfaction. The theory proposes that affective work behaviors are explained by employee mood and emotions, while cognitive based behaviors are the best predictors of job satisfaction. Their theory proposes that positive inducing, for example, uplifts, as well as negative inducing, for example, hassles, emotional incidents at work are distinguishable and have a significant psychological impact upon workers' job satisfaction. This results in lasting internal, for example, cognition, emotions, mental states, and external affective reactions exhibited through job performance, job satisfaction, and organizational commitment. Alternatively, some research suggests that job satisfaction mediates the relationship between various antecedent variables such as dispositions, workplace events, job characteristics, job opportunities, and employee behavior exhibited while on the job. For example, organized citizenship behaviors, counterproductive work behaviors, and job withdrawal. To that end, when workers experience uplifts, for example, completing a goal, receiving an award, or hassles, dealing with a difficult client, reacting to an updated deadline, their intention to continue or quit depends upon the emotions, moods, and thoughts associated with the satisfaction they derive from their jobs. Other research has demonstrated that the relationship between job satisfaction and turnover is fully mediated by intention to quit. Workers who report low job satisfaction are likely to engage in planned quitting. However, this relationship does not account for employees who report high job satisfaction but quit unexpectedly. Although extrinsic rewards such as better job offers outside their current organization may influence their decisions, employees' personality factors may also impact their decisions to exit early from otherwise ideal jobs under ideal working conditions. Recipients often refer to specific events in exit interviews when voluntarily leaving their current jobs. Minor events with subtle emotional effects also have a cumulative impact on job satisfaction, particularly when they occur acutely with high frequency. For example, perceived stressful events at work are often positively associated with high job strain on the day that they occur and negatively associated with strain the day after, resulting in an accumulation of perceived job related stress over time. This is consistent with the general understanding in vocational psychology that job satisfaction is a distal long term outcome that is mediated by perceived job stress. Factors affecting employee experience at work. The relationships between components associated with work, for example, tasks, autonomy, job demands, and emotional labor, and their impact on job outcomes support AET. Tasks that are considered challenging, rewarding, or that provide an opportunity to develop new skills induce positive effect and increase job satisfaction. Alternatively, tasks that are rated as routine, boring, or overwhelming are associated with negative effect. For example, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and concerns over job evaluations. This may lead workers to engage in planned quitting behaviors. The degree of autonomy workers have in their jobs affects their productivity, satisfaction, and intention to quit. Research shows that the ability to make decisions and influence what happens on the job has the greatest impact on job satisfaction, particularly among young male workers. Job autonomy even trumps income's effect on job satisfaction. Alternatively, work overload significantly reduces job satisfaction among middle aged women and men, but does not significantly impact job satisfaction among young male workers. These differences between the age and gender of workers indicate differences in career phase, where young male workers are more likely to put up with or expect work overload, while middle aged workers tend to be approaching their peak and may expect some concessions, for example, based on track record, merit, or currency to the organization. Likewise, work flexibility affects job satisfaction. In fact, the flexibility to decide when work is performed ranks number 1 among women and number 2 or 3 among men in determining the characteristics of a satisfying job. Similar to job autonomy, job flexibility is more important than income when evaluating job satisfaction. Flexibility to determine one's work schedule is an important contributor to job satisfaction across the spectrum of low and high income jobs. Work flexibility empowers employees by reducing the incidence of work family conflicts and engagement in planned quitting to improve overall quality of life. Positive effect is a fringe benefit of work flexibility that pays rich dividends to both employees and their employers, empowering the former and improving the ability of the latter to retain workers. Past research has suggested that workplace affect was a state-oriented construct like emotions and mood that depended upon the work environment or situations encountered at work. However, more recent research describes affect as a dispositional trait that is dependent upon the individual. Although workplace events have a significant impact on employees, their mood largely determines the intensity of their reaction to events experienced at work. This emotional response intensity tends to affect job performance and satisfaction. Other employment variables like effort, leaving, deviance, commitment, and citizenship are also affected by positive and negative perceptions of events experienced at work. General cognitive ability, also known as G, and personality also influence job performance. Emotion and cognition help to explain organizational citizenship behaviors, OCB. For example, emotions about one's job affect, are strongly associated with OCBs directed at individuals, while one's thoughts or job cognitions are reportedly more strongly associated with OCBs directed at the organization. The outcome of how satisfied an individual employee is with her or his job within the organization may depend upon how she perceives an incident experienced at work. Job satisfaction also depends upon the emotions and thoughts associated with that perception, as well as the social support provided by co-workers and the organization as a whole. Let us summarize. Emotions are integral part of human behavior, and it will be erroneous to assume by ignoring people's emotion we can remove eruption of emotional reactions at workplace. It is therefore better to understand dynamics of emotion at work and manage emotional responses rather than ignoring them. Emotions have traditionally been avoided as emotions were associated with negative reactions and poor performance. Of course, extreme degree of emotions, positive or negative, interfere with performance by restricting our span of attention and loss of control over our behavior. Negative emotions like anger, sadness, etc. interfere with performance. However, emotions can also positively influence performance. Emotions unleash creative potential, plus they provide energy by way arousal to perform the task. Another example of emotions positively impacting performance is of emotional labor, where employees display organizationally desired emotions and get better outcome. Emotions have their part in almost all crucial processes in organizational behavior like selection, leadership, counseling, mentoring, conflict management, motivation, power politics, reward allocation, decision making, group dynamics, team building, stress management, and divines, etc. Organizations are now emphasizing the art of managing emotions. Employees are being encouraged to learn skills of displaying organizationally desired emotions like smiling, greeting, acting tough or sad as the job situation requires.